All right, guys, it's Monday. I know our updates are usually on Wednesdays, but I really wanted to make this video, okay? It's funny how people nowadays are always like, oh, nobody wants to work anymore. Nobody wants to do. No, it's not the fact that nobody wants to work. It's the fact that nobody wants to work for a company for almost 20 years and then get let go. Nobody wants to work for a company that doesn't have adequate vacation time. Nobody wants to work for a company where they're overworked and underpaid. Nobody wants to work for a company that doesn't value their employees and recognize them. Like, a thing that bothers me about businesses the most is they want a 2-week notice when people quit, yet they can tell you right then and there that you're fired or that we're letting you go and you're done. You gotta go. Like, they don't give you a 2-week notice to go find another job. You could be, move, Stacy. You could potentially not be able to pay your rent because now you have to go find a new job or, whatever. Most Americans, unfortunately, are living paycheck to paycheck. And it's like, if we're not given a notice and you're just letting us go or, whatever, that puts us in a bad position. Yet a company who's making millions of dollars and all this stuff, you want us to give you a 2-week notice to find another employee? But yet, no. I think it's messed up. And I think it's messed up that there are so many companies that are letting people go that are so close to their 20 years or that have been working with them for so long and they just decide to let them go. It's almost like, oh, you haven't cared about me for the last 20 years? You haven't. That's why so many more people are doing their own thing nowadays. Like, they get on YouTube or they do content creation or they're on TikTok, they do affiliate marketing, they do whatever, some other way that generates them income where they're not relying on companies like this. They're not relying on the whole, you can retire after 20 years. No, you can't, because you might get let go at 8 years. You might get let go at 14 years. You might get let go at 19 years. Like, it's... I know it's not necessarily something that's new, but I feel like even in this day and age, like, so many businesses are asking themselves these questions, like, why can't we keep employees? Why can't this and that? How come nobody wants to work? How come nobody stays with a company for longer than a couple years? This is why. Like, they don't look at the company. They're just like, oh, nobody wants to work these days because everybody's on their phone. That's not true. Like, I know so many people who want to work, but they refuse to work under the conditions that a lot of these jobs are. And that's the unfortunate part. And you guys, life is too short to dedicate years and years and years to a company, especially one that's not yours, in hopes that in the end it's all going to work out. Now, I'm not saying that about all companies, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't work with a company long term, but if that's not part of your end goal, don't even start it. Don't even do it. Don't waste your time. Sure, you might need something to pay the bills, but get something that pays the bills and then figure it the F out and then get the heck out of there. Like, I'm hoping, what sparked this, and sorry if you watched this video, was a family member losing their job after being with a company for like 18 years at almost 60 years old. And now he has to go find another job. I personally think what he should do, because he's been contemplating this anyways, is sell his house, sell their cars, sell everything, and go retire in like Thailand, or get a remote job overseas, go retire in Thailand, or Vietnam, wherever they choose. He loves Vietnam, so, but then again, that's the only country he's been to, so, but go actually retire. Go actually live out your life. Don't get another sad, mediocre, meaningless job and work that out for another 10 years until you can retire. Sell your house, sell everything, and go live your life, you know. And I get it. At 60 years old, that's a little harder to do than somebody who's 20 years old. I understand that. But you would be surprised, those of you who are here watching my channel, you'd be surprised how many older people are here on YouTube and have started a successful YouTube channel that's generating them money within the last like year and a half. Like, it's crazy. And so I know it's always so cliche to say it, but you literally only have one life. We're not meant to sit at a desk 9 to 5 or 11 to 7 or whatever your hours are and do that for 20 plus years and hope that we can retire. So many people, you know, they save for retirement, but what if you don't make it to that age? What if you don't get to do those things? What if, like, I get it. Some of you would be like, well, what if you're 65 and now you have no savings? Like, I'm not telling you not to save, but there's so many people that limit themselves and hold themselves back for the sole purpose of saving. And that, me personally, I don't agree with. You've got to live your life while you're young, while you're able to, because so many people have so many dreams of doing things when they're older, and then guess what? They can't because they're too old. Or now they're injured or something happened. They got in an accident or something and now they can't fly, they can't walk, they can't whatever. And now that thing that was once something that they had planned to do, they can't do anymore. And it's like, that sucks, especially if it's something you really wanted to do and now you're sitting there for the rest of your life like just bummed out and depressed or something. Like, it's the point of this video basically was to just reiterate the fact that life is too short. You know, like, my husband and I, that's our goal, to be in Thailand next year, and we're actively working towards that. I started selling stuff around the house. I'm, you know, working with hotels and restaurants to shoot content for them and getting back more consistent here on YouTube. And that's the goal, that's the plan, that's what we want to do, because we're like, we don't want to be here anymore, here, like in Texas. I still want to be alive, okay, but we're tired of being here, tired of being here in Texas. And if we move, we don't want to move anywhere else in Texas. We don't want to move to a different state in the United States. We want to travel the world. And it'll be so much easier if we're already living overseas, you know. And really the only reason we'd ever come back here would be to visit family. But honestly, I'd be like, look, y'all come visit me in Thailand. I'm not going over there, you know. But again, it's just, you think you've got a secure job, but you don't. You really don't. Like, nobody knows 100%. You don't know. And that's the part about life that, you know, for some of us really sucks, because it's really uncertain what can happen, when it'll happen, how it'll happen, why it happens, whatever. And that's why it's just one of those that you just have to live in the moment, and you have to be very aware that, like, literally, again, all these cliches like tomorrow's not promised, you know, neither's the next 10 seconds, the next, actually, even 1 second, like, you know. And it's, people don't think about that enough. And then that's when you're left with people who are 70 years old and still work, who are 70 years old and haven't left their hometown, who are 70 years old and they never got to do anything that they wanted to do. And it's just, I personally refuse to live my life that way. And that's how a lot of people around my age are, especially those younger than me. Like, I'm 31, and the people that are younger than me are even more like, F that. You know, like, at least I tried it for a little bit. I got a couple jobs and then screw that, man. But anyways, I just felt the need to share that because, like I said, I literally had gotten a text that said a family member of mine had been basically laid off, and he literally dedicated, 18 plus years of his life to this company. And what bothers him is they knew for 6 months they were getting rid of his position and they didn't tell him 6 months ago. They literally just told him today. So that's like, you knew for 6 months and you didn't at least give a 1 month warning or something like, hey, by the way, we're getting rid of your position in a month. You should probably look for another job or go back to his previous position in the company. But no, they just decided to let him go. And like I said, at 60 years old, like, it's messed up. And yeah. So I hope that maybe he takes this as a sign to just say, F it, to sell everything and move away. The only thing that does kind of suck is, since he is in his 60s, and it's funny because he's in the tech field, so he's really up to date on technology, but he's not somebody that's going to get on social media. I had told him a long time ago he should have made a YouTube channel with his grandson where he's showing him how to work on the car, he's showing him how to do things around the house, and they could do YouTube that way. But he's kind of one of those that looks at it like, oh, if you weren't on YouTube 15 years ago or whatever, you're not gonna be successful. And it's like, there's people who started YouTube just a couple months ago and they're already really successful. They're already making money off of YouTube. Like, what do you mean? Like, you don't have to have been somebody who's been on it for 15 years or somebody who got on it right when it first started. So even if I bring up the idea, I don't think he would get on YouTube, Even though the funny thing is a lot of the videos I post that he's in perform much better because he's hilarious and he's the greatest person alive. But, yeah. So just figure out what you want in life. And don't settle for anything less. And if you thought you figured it out the first time, it's okay to change it. But give yourself that honest, deep dive to figure out what is it that you truly want. That way you don't play these silly games with your life. Anyways, that's all I've got for you guys right now. I feed my dogs before he starts getting mad at me. So, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.